Today I want to talk to the leaders, and I just want to say this. Don't let people sabotage your purpose and your leading the church, okay? There's going to be people who come in and want you to do this and that and the other thing, and they're even going to try and bribe you. You might lose them as supporters. You might lose them as financial donors. But here's the thing. As leaders, your goal is more important than appeasing the one. I'll give you a good example, okay? We had a lot of people who said, the government can't tell us what to do. We need to open back with church. We need to, open back the doors. We need to defy the government. And then now that we are open, those same people are not faithful to church anymore. They're not here when the doors are open. They're here whenever they feel like it. It's, they wanted us to sacrifice our goal and our purpose of, showing people how to not be rebellious in heart, of, being united with our leaders, with not burning bridges in the community because we can't be told what to do. Stupid stuff like that, where it's like, I'm not totally sure that churches should have closed down, absolutely, but when somebody else comes in and says, this is what you guys need to do, I'm not the leader, and yet I'm trying to instruct you as a leader, and if you don't listen to them, they take it as a personal affront. You need to make sure that the church does this. You need to stir people into action. You need to have a worship night. You need to have a fast. So you can't be told what to do, but you want everybody else. See what I mean? And that's one of the things you got to watch out for as leaders. People who come in and sabotage you, or what's the word? They divert your goal, your purpose as a leader. And you're going to find that this happens a lot. There was actually before the coronavirus hit, there was a couple who tried to do this. Well, we want to run the church this way. We want to make it like this. We want to do this. We want to do this. And it's like, well, those are great ideas, and we did listen. And when there was an idea worth instituting, we did. But ultimately, their purpose wasn't the same as ours. They came in saying this is the first church we've ever seen that didn't just talk about reaching out to the community. It actually does. It actually loves people. It actually goes out and serves the community, does stuff for the community. It's not so self-focused. So then they came in and they wanted us to act self-focused. So they wanted us to change our goal and our vision and our purpose and our dream to appease them. They didn't realize that the reason we got to this place by changing, by being flexible, by learning, by adapting. Instead, they wanted to not grow. They wanted us to change and grow to be like them. But then they still wanted us to have the same effects, the same. See what I mean? And there comes a point when some people just aren't really willing to listen to that. And so there's always going to be people who try and come in and they try and kind of weasel you out of the front seat to kind of take control themselves. Sometimes you got to watch out. Sometimes this is going to be an associate pastor. Sometimes this is going to be a worship leader. Sometimes it's not always going to be that guy that you didn't really know. Sometimes it's going to be the people that you knew for a long time, and they're going to try and sabotage you, try and take control, take the reins from you. And you have to remember that as a leader, you can't let people. You can't let people take control of your goal, your purpose, your what you're working for, your vision. Okay? The vision has to come from the leader. And here's the thing, sometimes it's going to be your board. Sometimes you're going to have elders or deacons or whatever the crap you call it at your church that are going to try and take the vision of the church. They're not going to want to let it change. We can't update. We can't reach people in a new way. We have to do the same thing that happened when I was a kid. Even though when I was a kid, they weren't doing the same thing as when my great-grandpa was a kid. See what I mean? I'm fixated on this point of time, and you need to make sure to do that. And we've actually seen this happen a lot with the coronavirus. So we did what we thought was right as leaders, criticized for it. Then eventually we were able to open back up, criticized for it. by the same people. The same people are doing these things. So then we say, okay, we're going to try this out. Criticize for it. Oh, well, we're going to try this out. Criticize for it. So, like, here's a good example. We somehow prayer got where it became too minor of a role in the church. I don't know exactly how that happened. It was just kind of a subtle thing. We realized our error and we said, hey, look, this is not good. So now at the end of the service, we're going to start having it where there is more prayer time, that we're going to open up the altar, the front of the church for prayer. We have a prayer team. We have all these things we're trying to put into place to make sure that we still incorporate prayer. We even made it where our live stream, where you can join in with the prayer through the live stream by posting your prayer requests and that kind of stuff, and then it's taken to the prayer team. And when we said that, yeah, well, you should be, you should change that. And it's like, okay, guys, hold on. There isn't some evil plot for us to remove God from the church or some nonsense. It's not some evil plot for us to remove prayer from the church. It was an oversight. I don't know how it happened. It was just a real gradual, steady thing. If you're a leader, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes you make a change and you don't anticipate how it's going to affect this other area over here. So yeah, we were making sure, that we were reaching people's needs, that we were getting rid of things that didn't really have a place and a focus. But then in all that change and all the changes that we were doing with fixing the projector issue and fixing the lighting issues, we just overlooked something. And it wasn't like we did it for forever. We're talking about a few months, mostly during the quarantine, that, in fact, I think that actually was part of the cause. Prayer was already on the downswing through our oversight, but then when the coronavirus hit, we couldn't have people in here, so we were live streaming, and so it was like we kind of just had a closing prayer. And then when the church opened back up, we forgot to integrate that back in. But with all that being said, some people will never be happy. Some people will never submit to your authority. Some people will always want you to bend over backwards for the church. And here's the thing. They will steal your passion. They will steal your joy. They will steal your audience of who's actually there for you to reach. So I hope that kind of helps. You guys have a good day.